How to tell amazing stories during your conversations. It's very simple. Here you go: the formula. The components: simplicity, tension, emotional roller coaster. Explain the story as vividly as possible as you had experienced it. The finale. Then you need to repeat the story over and over until you learn it and can visualize it in the other person's mind. I will explain it from my point of view, so it will be easy for you to understand. Here you go: a story of mine. An ex-colleague of mine was begging me for £30 as a short-term loan so he could pay his phone bill. After a few minutes of him begging me, I agreed to give him the £30. After 5 minutes, he messaged me and told me that his account balance was minus, and when that money came, the account went back to zero. Here is the first red flag that I sensed. He continued to beg me for another £30 for him to pay his bill. After a few minutes, I agreed. I wanted to help him to get out of this bad situation. I knew from personal experience that life hits hard, and when you are not prepared, especially with money, then you are screwed. I said to myself, in the worst case scenario, I lose the total £60. Then I gave him the extra £30. After a few minutes, he again continued to beg me for £40 additional, and he said that he would return all £100 plus £20 extra at the end of the week. Here I saw the second red flag. I saw that he was overly desperate for money, which means that he either doesn't have a job or he needs the money for drugs, or a combination of both. Despite those red flags, I gave him the extra £40, despite the fact, back then I didn't have a job since a job at that period of time, and I was relying on my money savings as survival money. What happened next? The expected Friday comes and I ask him, where are my money? He finds a bunch of excuses. I asked him to tell me on which exact date he was going to return my money. He was avoiding the answer and he was finding more excuses. He even tried to beg for more money. I told him that there was no chance of that happening. I told him, you haven't returned the old borrowed money, and on top of that you ask for more. Not to mention that you are earning between £400 and £600 per week, and me on the other hand, I haven't had a job for 1 month. I said a few more other things after that. I told him that I wanted my money next Friday. He agreed. The next Friday came. He continued to find excuses for why he couldn't return my money today. Then I blocked him. I lost £100. And then in the end, I said to myself, I don't care who will beg money from me in future. I would not give any. I keep my promises. That's the end of the story. Aside from that, for you to learn and remember your own stories with all your emotions tied to them, I would suggest you write down on Google Notes or in a notebook your best stories so you can learn them and then be able to use them whenever you need them. If you like the content that I share with you, then like my videos and subscribe, and if you do really find the information that I share with you very useful for you, then refer me to your friends and family so they too can learn and grow just by listening to me for a few minutes per day.